What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of this show. I don't have a title for it yet, but let's just call it NorCal Filipinos Presents dot dot dot. My name is Jay of NorCal Filipinos, and today I'll be speaking with Chris and Hillary Soriano to talk about their latest film, Red Light Teachers, which is currently showing in select theaters nationwide. It's a film that dives into power, secrecy, and the choices people make when boundaries begin to blur. It's a story that's provocative, uncomfortable at times, and meant to spark conversation long after the credits roll. We'll be talking about the inspiration behind the film, the messages it explores, and what the creators hope audiences take away. Let's get into it. Okay, so I am here with Chris and Hillary Soriano, the directors, actors, producers um, of Red Light Teachers. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for being on with me.
Yeah, thank
Nice.
you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So, about the movie. So, what sparked the idea to explore a story that places the respected world of education alongside the underground world of exotic dancing?
Such a great first question. I just wanted to showcase someone's journey, an immigrant's journey, and how she comes to America and experiences challenges to get a job. And she's got this degree from the University of the Philippines, and she's an accredited teacher there, but she can't get a job here. So that's where she, instead of being deported back, she works hard to find a living, and she discovers it in a strip club while still trying to build her life. And finally, she is able to get out of that. And when she gets a job, her past catches up to her. So that was kind of like the premise of the movie. And I just wanted to honor our people, put Filipino immigrants on the map. There's not too many movies about us. So yeah, yeah.
So, now both of you come from Filipino immigrant families in
Mhm.
San Diego, correct?
Yeah, born and raised in San Diego.
Right.
Awesome. So, how did stories from the San Diego community influence Maria's journey?
Beautiful question. I feel
Mhm.
like these um, when I grew up, a lot of my family, friends, family, they all immigrated here, and all those little stories I took from those experiences, and whether it's trying to um, apply for your first job when you come here and you barely speak English, to having the confidence to quit your job and find something better, to even paying food and rent to the people that you're staying with because you can't afford a home yet. All these little things I saw, and I just kept them in my heart, and I was like, I'm going to write this into a story, and I hope people could relate.
Now, Hillary, this one's specifically for you.
Mhm.
You spent some time training,
On that pole.
for training
Training on a
little
pole.
training, little dance training for this role.
Mhm.
How did the physical discipline and endurance help you connect with the character Maria's survival mindset?
Yeah, so this was such a fun role because it was my first time experiencing like learning how to pole dance, and it's a lot of work. Like just going on the pole and using a lot of like core and your legs, and then the I guess how you stick on the pole is your skin. So it kind of like burns a little bit. But I learned I learned that, and I learned from an actual stripper too, because to like really embody my character, and any character I play, I love to like learn from like real life. And with the character too, she's like really fun, playful, and I'm generally like very playful, so I kind of like enhanced a little bit of me, a little bit into the character. And then yeah, Chris kind of explained how the character is, and I just like put my little like thoughts into it and had some fun.
Nice. Now, without revealing any plot details, what were like the most emotional or psychological challenges that came with portraying a character navigating two different worlds?
Yeah. So, with like I guess how I felt like there are certain scenes, like my favorite scene of Lizelle and Maria in this story, and I don't want to give too much, but she kind of gets in trouble, and it's Lizelle is kind of who I am is kind of like having a secret, but she's taking care of her cousin. And there is this very sweet moment where we kind of like really cried together, and we both like on set really helped each other and felt that emotion, and we both like remember it to this day, where it was like that was our favorite scene because it was so much emotion. And like you'll see kind of like with this character in particular, there's a lot of like fun playfulness, but there's also a lot of like raw and emotion, where there's like the Sipoon type of cry,
Yeah, the
where it's
ugly
like
cry. Where it's just like,
The ugly cry.
yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. So now teaching and dancing, obviously two different worlds, but they both kind of require like commanding a room. How
Mhm.
does the movie explore like performance as like a tool for survival across both spaces?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, um, because like when you perform, you're emoting from truth, hopefully, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a teacher, and survival. I mean, wow, what a, she's performing as a stripper, but she's trying to survive. So, it's really weird because in the beginning she didn't want to do it, and I'm not really revealing too much of the plot, but she just had to adapt to that role for survival. I mean, she first goes out there and she gets booed because she's not good at it, and so she has to learn, and so there's that, performing to survive, as well as her as a teacher. As you watch midway through the film, this is her passion. She's performing in terms of putting on the best education for the class. But then they find out about her past. And so it's like, how can you continue to keep going when you're getting judged? So, anyways, uh, a twist happens and she has to prove herself, or otherwise she'll be kicked out. So, that's hopefully that answers that.
So, you kind of touched on this a little bit early on. So the film, it centers around immigrant women whose education, degrees, certifications, professional identities are essentially erased when they come to the US. So how did you want to capture the psychological impact of being forced to start over?
Wow. I wanted to start with vulnerability and being desperate because when you're stripped of your titles, which you've worked 5 years to acquire, and it's not a glamorous job being a teacher in the Philippines. People want to have a better, high paying job. So to become a public servant in a way is just like, people, they, you know, what's the phrase? Greener pastures. They want money. They want, so when you choose a job like a nurse, and then, or excuse me, not a nurse, a teacher, and then you come to America and you still can't pursue it, I mean, you better, like, for you to really fight for it, um, you're going to do anything. And so that's why I was incorporating her just trying to survive. And she discovers the strip club. She thought she would apply as a waitress, to only realize, well, this is the only position they have. And so, and there are many more stories like this that immigrants go through that are grittier, that are more raw. So, I was just covering one that, tells it at a unique angle, but the struggle is the same, meaning fighting for your dream.
So obviously the country right now, there's a heightened national debate around immigration lately. Um, and this movie just released a week and a half ago
Mhm.
in the theaters. So, and then the movie like kind of presents itself as like reinvention, not as a choice, but as a necessity. So how did that cultural moment influence the way you approach the story?
Wow. Yeah. Reinvention, it was more of a little bit of both, right? She needed to change in terms of, I mean, what is the goal? The goal is to teach, the goal is to stay in America. And then she's going to be forced out if she doesn't find a way to survive. And so all it means is she needs to do whatever to make a living and then continue at it. So I hope that aligns with everything that's going on right now, in the world, with different being criticized if you are an immigrant. And I come from a family of immigrants, and I believe all of us as
Mhm.
Filipinos, and we're proud
Mhm.
be immigrants. So, I think our film is very relevant in a time like this. How far are you willing to go despite all the challenges that are out there?
So, do you think the story like intentionally plays with like the irony that Maria is basically being invisible as a professional educator while being very visible in her, night work?
Wow, what a beautiful connection. And
Mhm.
absolutely, it's funny how you could not be in demand with education and you come here because you just didn't qualify for the certain, certifications. But
Mhm.
then you start being on that pole, you could get, that respect that you didn't get, right? From
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
patrons at the strip club. So, it's just like, wow, I've never really connected it in that way. My standpoint was more so she'll do whatever it takes to get there. But when you talk about in demand versus non in demand, if there was a call to action I could do as a, some sort of activism for our film, I would want certifications to be processed in a different way, especially for people that have 4-year degrees in other countries. That yeah, I believe the nursing world has something where you take tests and you're good, and in this case, I wish they had something like that for education so it can make it a bit more efficient for educators because a lot of them from the Philippines are coming here to educate Americans. And I thought that was another cool thing. It's like, wow, we're taking teachers from the Philippines to educate the American kids in America. That should say something about who we are as people. So.
So, Maria's teaching style is like described as being unconventional. Like, how does
Mhm.
her experience shape the way she connects with her students?
Right. It's unconventional in a way where she takes what she's learned in the strip club, she calls it body work and body movement work because
Mhm.
she's, being hired as a drama teacher and they have an end of the year school play.
Mhm.
So she takes those movements and, a lot of actors, they do, acting is 90% nonverbal, right? When we communicate, when we speak. So she takes those principles into her teaching methods.
So, one of the students is also like fighting to survive, right? So, like, how does that shared struggle like deepen the relationship, between Maria and that students? Like, how does it deepen their relationship beyond the traditional like teacher student dynamic?
Right. It's like, how teachers back in the day, I'm sure you had a really good one, that would go the extra mile to try to help their students. Like they would probably, they just, it felt like they were in it more than just the paycheck. And that's what we see from Maria from day one. She's willing to help them after hours, everything to really get the play right. And so just dedicating your time and going above and beyond is what we do as Filipinos in general. So
Mhm.
it's like I wanted to establish that that's like prerequisite for us. We just give everything we've got,
Mhm.
and we don't we're not the type that's like, all right, there goes the clock, we're out. Some of my favorite
Yeah.
teachers, one of them, Mr. Labrador, here in San Diego, would I remember some gangs wanted to jump me outside of my classroom when I was 13, and I didn't say nothing. And because I was like, oh shit, how the hell am I going to get out of this mess? I looked out the window. There's a bunch of, the other sets, getting ready to jump me. I knew they were coming for me. And then my teacher leaned over and he said, are those guys out there for you? And I was like, um, maybe. And he says, come with me. And then he went through the back door. He opened it. And he's like, get out of here. And so I ran and they didn't jump me that day. I was good. So, teachers like that are really cool.
That's a good story. I read that story about
Oh.
the your
Mhm.
younger days,
All right.
Oh.
getting jumped in. I read about that. I was like, oh, that's very interesting.
Right, right. I mean, if you're in the wrong place, the wrong time, you're either going to be shot, you're either going to be hazing the gang. So, you
Mhm.
know, uh, you know, yeah.
Now, do you feel like Maria, like she sees the classroom like as a temporary solution or like as a like kind of like a meaningful reclaiming of her original dream?
Wow. I feel like I started
No,
answering your
no,
question.
this
Would
is
you like
good
to?
because I'm because you're the director, so I kind of want to share the vision of why.
She's the EP, executive producer and actress, so she's my boss. But in terms of, I felt like she felt that the classroom was why she was meant to be who she is. It's, she says a phrase in there that education is the ultimate wealth. It's a Tagalog phrase. I don't want to butcher it, but she says it beautifully. And so, I wanted that to be kind of like the dream. She loves what she does. Yeah.
So early on in the movie, Maria is told basically she must contribute or leave. Simple as that. That's a pretty classic line
Mm-mm.
there. How does that pressure inform the path she chooses to survive?
Dang, man, you watched the film because you on point
Great
today. Yeah,
questions. I know.
because it goes to show that a lot of because she's getting the heat from her fellow Filipino kababayan. In the scene, the uncle's like, "Yo, make sure you cover your fair share or get the hell out of here." Sometimes even our biggest challenges is not from the obstacles we face, but from family. And think of it, family drama. It always happens. And so you would think somebody would be more welcoming, but they put the pressure on. And a lot of us as Filipinos, we see that. I saw it growing up. So I wanted to incorporate that scene because it's what makes her bulletproof. It's what makes her tough. Um, even though it came from a bad place, when the uncle is saying that, she still, because she's very grateful of coming to America, that she takes those hits. And, that's what we do as Filipinos too. We take the hits and we get better. And when we get there, we don't say, ha, see, I told you so.
Yeah.
Maybe if they were listening to Kanye West, they would. But, we just go, all right, it is what it is. And I'm going to show you and I'm going to keep moving forward.
And from the dad's perspective, he kind of like sees her as like, hey, I hustled to get to where I am. Like he's very strict throughout the film, and you'll see.
Yeah.
But he kind of just wants like the best for his daughter and his niece, and so it's tough, but
tough love.
yeah, tough, a lot of tough love.
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah.
So in the nightclub world, like, do you feel like Maria finds community like among the other women, like navigating the similar barriers, or is it
Yeah.
more like individual survival?
Well, I think in the movie, we really portrayed where it's like we have like a good like group of girls who, I have the actress Sarah there who plays one of the teacher who kind of like showcases her to actually dance because she doesn't know how to dance at all. And then there's me where I play Lizelle, where I'm like, I want to be an actress, Ate, and blah blah blah. This is why I do it. I have my, my
Please
my
preview
people,
to them a move you learned on the pole.
Okay.
But yeah, good point.
And it just kind of shows like sisterhood because it's like us three throughout this journey. We're so playful. We're making each other laugh, and it's like a tough thing, but it's like we are connected because it's like we're doing this together, and we just kind of show her how to like live throughout this process of being a stripper and being in this world. And then her goal and her dream is to be a teacher, and you'll see with the two other characters in the film.
So now this is, I believe, the fourth independent film that you guys have like that are like centered around Filipino American characters. Is that correct?
This is our fourth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So how has your approach to like the AAPI representation evolved with this movie?
Wow. First, it started our very first film. It was in the heat of the pandemic, but with the Asian hate crimes.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful question, because dang, it seems like we've been tackling issues on issues. So,
Yeah.
and then we progressed through the pandemic with the trying to get married, and you can't do it in a
Yeah, we got
pandemic.
married.
And we got married.
Yeah, we actually got married in our other film, and it was during the pandemic.
And
I
then we
read that.
went,
Yeah, that's cool.
and then we went on to this with the situation on immigration and how it's a crazy complex thing where somebody like Maria gets caught in the middle of all of that. How does she react to that? So there's that. So I hope that kind of gave you a progression, that it seems as though whenever there's a current event, there's a movie on the horizon.
So we
Yeah.
kind of did like what's raw and real,
Right.
and then we kind of put it into a narrative so
So that the
people can.
audience can choose. Isn't that what
Yeah.
art's about, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's awesome. I love it. So you guys filmed like in spaces that were tied to your own lives, like even I believe a church, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did that personal
That's
history
so
like
funny.
affect the performances and the tone?
Mm.
Yeah, so that church that we used in the film was my actual church that I grew up in. I got baptized in, and they're super um supportive in all the films that we do, and we used it as a classroom setting.
Right, right.
And it's funny because it was like the church I grew up in, and then we had an amazing strip club that we um, filmed at as
Yeah.
well for like 5 days. And we love Dino from Expose as well, and super supportive too. We just feel like the San Diego community that like we're in touch with are so supportive of like film and the arts that we're bringing. So
Right.
we're really, really thankful
Yeah.
because,
They shut down the
yeah,
strip club for us, and we thought that was so cool.
yeah,
Oh,
Like, you
wow.
know, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
Cool.
then like you know, we would work early mornings like 5 a.m. to like noon because that's when, you know, the real strippers come at like noon. So we just
We're like,
make
sorry,
sure we're on
clean
the
up the pole for
dot,
you.
you know, clean it up, get
Yeah.
it ready. And
Get ready
it
for
was
the lunch rush.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great. The lunch, the meal, and a show.
Yes.
Oh, one time somebody thought she was a real stripper, and then this
Oh,
Oh.
dude
wow.
was like, this construction worker was trying to, holla at her, and I was like, easy, easy player.
I was
This
like,
this is my
oh,
wife, homie.
sorry,
And then he was like,
sir.
he looked at me all funny, like, it's your wife, right? I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
No, I don't work here.
Yeah, yeah,
We're making a movie.
right. So true story.
Oh, wow. So as the team that you guys are, the husband and wife team, like balancing the directing, producing, and even the acting, how do you navigate, the creative tension on like emotionally heavy material like this?
Oof, there's so much tension.
Ooh,
What
a
a beautiful
lot.
question. Yeah, we went through so much just because, it's like when you're a couple and you're gonna argue. And when you argue in front of, the crew, it's not cool. So we argue in private and we're almost like whispering, and then they'll stop by and they'll be like, they could feel that there's tension in the room. But us as professionals, we got to work that out because the film ain't gonna get done if we're arguing and fighting. So, there's a lot of disagreements, but we could learn to um, agree and disagree. And also, when we get to a point where we're like really kind of pissed off, we have like a grounding phrase. We say like a biblical quote, scripture, and then that neutralizes us. It doesn't matter where you stand. If I'm right, she's right. It's like a vulnerable, like, hey, I don't want to argue anymore. And then it resets us.
Mhm.
But there's times we push that where we still keep arguing
Yeah.
despite that phrase being said. But
Because we've been together for 13 years, so it's
yes,
been a
yes,
journey. And like
Yeah.
especially in this industry, you get like, you know, sometimes you have to get intimate with others and it's acting, but you have to
right,
be raw and real too.
right.
And so
But we're not really like sleeping with folks.
no,
It's a
no.
scene.
It's a
So
scene.
and this
Uh-huh.
ain't OnlyFans. This is a movie. So, but yeah, when that happens, I see it on her end, she sees it on my end, and it's awkward. Like I don't think anybody enjoys it unless you're into that. So, but with me, I'm like, dang, I can't take this scene, or she's gonna be like, I can't take this scene. But it comes from a place now of like, we respect each other's craft, and we check in with each other's partner, whoever it is. And even for this scenes that I've done, they're not actual kissing scenes. They're angled because I heard that like people like Denzel Washington don't do actual kiss scenes. So,
Oh,
yeah, for these two films that I've done, and I've made it a staple that I'm gonna find every creative angle to make it look real without doing it. So
Yeah, because
and
we just want to respect our marriage and
yeah,
then to be able to like do it in a creative way where it's like it's
super
fake,
real.
but it looks really
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
interesting.
Mhm.
I didn't know that
yeah. That's
about
what the
Denzel
podcast is
Washington.
going. And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, the film has been screened across the country. So what reaction from the audiences has surprised you guys the most?
Oh, you want to go
I
ahead?
think like the laughter. I
Yeah,
love
yeah. That's a
hearing
great
laughter.
answer.
That's like
Yeah.
what makes me like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm like,
oh
dang,
my
this is a
gosh,
comedy. I
more,
wrote it as a
more.
drama, but hey, as long as you're, yeah,
Yeah, and it made me to just hear that because like I guess with the film, we didn't really intend for it to be too fun, like
Yeah,
a lot of laughter, and we've been hearing that with
yeah,
certain scenes, and I'm like, oh, cool.
yeah. I was like, cool. So I would agree with her.
Yeah.
And the only thing I found is that they really related well to the uh, what do you call that when like Filipino parents diss you for not
Mhm.
like making it and like just like whatever that area is. There's just a lot of relatability to the antagonist in this story, the uncle who just chews up Maria as soon as she comes to America. It's not like, hey, welcome, come on out. It's more like you better get your stuff together because you're here to survive. Tough
Yeah.
love the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys hope teachers and educators like take away from like Maria's bond with her students?
Wow, beautiful question, man. You on a roll. Every single one of these
Mhm.
questions. I don't
I
think I could have
know. I was
written
like,
these.
Only a couple
those
more
are
left.
great questions.
Damn. Well, I hope that educators, if they were to get inspired by Maria's teaching, is to find other ways to bond with students so that they could continue to, not get distracted or, figure out that, because it's so hard to like, even me when I was growing up, it's like you'd be like I had some sort of ADHD or something. I couldn't focus, and it was those teachers that would make me feel like they care about me. That I'd be like, oh shit, I'll pay attention. So that care and that extra attention goes a long way to like a young molded mind. That it shows them that I'm visible. I'm here. And just a little story. I remember in high school, I had to make a writing blurb, and then there was that one teacher that like took my writing blurb, which was instructions how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and she did it in front of the class. And she said, "That's how you do a creative writing prompt." And like she gave me props and love and respect. And so that today stuck with me. That damn, when a teacher cares, it gets you to keep going. So yeah.
Okay, so now after everybody watches this movie, what do you hope they carry into their own lives, whether in how they see immigrant labor, education, or even the quiet sacrifices people make to survive?
Mm,
Well, what I want people to kind of see, like the struggles of like an immigrant. It's like coming to another country and you know nothing and you have to figure it out on your own. And yeah, just kind of like showcasing that through the film. That's what like I would love for people to take in, and like the struggles that they go through and then the choices that they're facing. Yeah.
yeah, and to I guess one thing I want people to take away is that I don't know. I just want other Filipinos to be like, yo, that was my aunt's story, or that was like my cousin's story, or that's like my story. Um, to be able to relate a film and connect the dots is healing. It's almost like therapeutic. And so I want family members to go, I got that annoying uncle. I got that, situation. I got, so yeah.
All right, well, my last question here, really. Any upcoming projects? Any new movies coming out that you guys are working on?
Yes, we're working
Yeah.
on one right now, and it's about a nurse that uses her voice to help dying patients heal by singing to them. So it's like a singing nurse, and she realizes there's some magic to this, and she's trying to discover it. And yeah, we're really excited about that. We're preparing for that right now, and it's called Voiceless. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
mhm.
Like that. No, that's awesome. Great. And I hope to see that movie as well. Like
Yeah.
if you hopefully you guys, can release it out everywhere again, nationwide. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for coming on with me. I appreciate it again being my first interview. Hopefully I did okay.
Oh
You
my,
did
amazing
amazing. We
questions.
used to
Or
be
I'm like, I gotta
journalists. So.
really critically think.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think anyone's asked me those deep questions
Those
ever
are
in my
real
life.
good questions.
So yeah, those are good.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And then where can the movie's still out in theaters now, correct?
Yes,
Mhm.
just go to redlightteachers.com. You can see where it's playing. And we're doing something really exciting to continue to spread this. We're going to be premiering in the Philippines. That's a huge thing. And we're getting ready to roll this out in a bigger way. We're going to announce that soon. We'll let you
Yeah,
know
I'll
so
let
you
you
can share it with
know.
your peeps. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. If you guys have like any other like red carpet things going on, I would love to, I'd come out to
Yes,
support you guys.
I would
This
love
is
that.
awesome.
Awesome. Rock your barong.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh yeah, my parents are in the Philippines right now. I asked them to get me another one
Oh,
because
Oh,
get it
yeah.
custom made. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was like, I only have this one. And I was like, it's from my sister's wedding from
Right,
so
right.
long
I
ago. I was
wear
like,
mine.
oh, I think I need
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
a new one.
yeah. Right.
But
Nice.
awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on with me. I appreciate it, and can't wait to see uh many more movies from you guys.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Thank you. Like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube at NorCal Filipinos. Visit us at norcalfilipinos.org. Follow us on Facebook at NorCal Filipinos and on Instagram at norcal.filipinos.